Newshub can reveal that the New Zealand government sent aid money to North Korea for at least 8 years. But it stopped last year when the government became worried that Kim Jong-un's regime was diverting any money it could get its hands on into its nuclear program. And in a blunt assessment of the North Korean leader, Foreign Affairs Minister Gerry Brownlee labelled Kim Jong-un a complete nutter. Jenna Lynch has this exclusive report.
Kim Jong-un watching his missile attempt this week, excited by his military's latest development. 10,000 kilometres away, Gerry Brownlee unleashing a verbal missile of his own.
It's an awful situation there. You've got a complete nutter running the place.
A blunt evaluation, but it turns out money from the New Zealand government has been making its way to North Korea. It's through something called the Embassy Fund for North Korea, a contestable fund managed by our embassy in Seoul. The amount given was small but symbolic, around $30,000 per year, in total $215,000. It went to aid agencies to buy things like utensils for orphanages, English language training, water sanitation and food processing equipment.
It's not a lot of money.
Part of the money went towards fertiliser and 6 10-horsepower tractor-trailer units for a New Zealand Friendship Farm, a 935-hectare farm 40 minutes north of Pyongyang.
I don't know much about that farm.
The funding was suspended in 2016 after the government became concerned about how North Korea was spending money while its people suffered.
It was starting to become clear that every dollar that the North Korean government should be spending in the welfare of its own people were in fact being diverted into that nuclear program, which would make us effectively subsidising that.
Do you think that that money was going basically directly to the North Korean regime?
Look, I can't answer that at this stage.
The Taxpayers Union says no money should have ever gone there.
We've got hundreds of thousands of dollars that have been going to a country that literally wants to wipe some of our closest allies off the face of the earth.
The government put a stop to it just in time. It could have been an awkward subject during the visit of the US Secretary of State last week, when Rex Tillerson directly asked us to cut any ties left with North Korea.
We have called on all nations that have any type of relations, economic activity with North Korea to join us in putting pressure on the regime in Pyongyang.
I don't think that small amount puts a lot of pressure on them.
And before we consider sending money again, things will have to change dramatically.
We're not interested in putting funding into North Korea that props up a regime that seems to think it perfectly reasonable for them to threaten such a large percentage of the world's population.
With Kim Jong-un at the helm, that looks unlikely.
This guy is irrational, he's nuts, and not a sort of person that you want to have with a finger anywhere near the trigger of a nuclear weapon.
Gerry Brownlee, our top diplomat, using far from diplomatic language.
And Jenna Lynch joins us now live from Parliament. Now, Jenna, there's wide-ranging UN sanctions on North Korea, so have we broken any rules here?
Well, in the OIA, the Ministry for Foreign Affairs and Trade says that no money went directly to the North Korean government and that the dispersal of that fund was compliant with all of the United Nations Security Council resolutions on North Korea. But as you heard from Gerry Brownlee there, he couldn't actually confirm whether the money had made its way to the government somehow.
And Jenna, there's been another political development in the last few minutes. You've learned some details of the immigration policy Labour's due to announce tomorrow. What can you tell us?
Yeah, that's right. They are going to cut immigration and they're going to cut it big time. They're going to cut tens of thousands of immigrants from coming into the country over the next 3 years, but they'll also introduce a special kind of visa. Now, that visa will allow them to get people here with essential skills. Think builders, because they need builders if they are going to carry through on their promise of building 100,000 homes.
Jenna, thank you.